Smart Chiropractor Show. It is our Mindset Mentor segment where we talk about getting things right upstairs so that you can execute and get things done in your practice. Jason, I know you showed me the topic of today before we got started here. We're going to be talking about building good habits and breaking bad ones with a fantastic book by James Clear. What have you learned about atomic habits and building great habits for the long term?
Well, you'd think it was easy. Everybody sort of goes, oh, habits. I know all about habits. You kidding? I teach people about habits. And you probably do. If you're a chiropractor, you teach people about their lifestyle habits and their choices and the consequences of the things they decide to do and the consequences of the things they don't decide to do. But every once in a while, it's not a bad idea, maybe even a good idea to, hold the mirror up and see how we are doing in that conversation. Recently, a good friend of mine, in fact, my financial advisor and college buddy and one of my closest friends, sent me this book, Atomic Habits, as we were talking about life and what's going on and how to keep improving and investing, not just financially, but investing our time, our energy, our focus, our mindset on building the habits that are going to create the results that we all want. You know this intellectually, but sometimes we don't always practice what we preach. And so, as Jeff said, the mindset mentorship segment we kick off every week is really because, the philosophy is that we will get into the tactics, the things to do, in fact, habits to create for yourself. But the truth is, and the reality is that everybody tends to get slightly different results, even though they're following the same game plan. You know this. You've got all kinds of people that come into your practice. You provide care, and some respond incredibly, some, pretty good, and some not so much. And the reality is the difference isn't necessarily you. You're the same chiropractor. The difference oftentimes is them and their lifestyle, them and their mindset. So mindset matters. Who you are determines how well what you do works. Think about that for a moment. So let's play upstairs for a little while, what our mindset says. And a couple of the takeaways I've got from reading this book and going through it, watching some videos and so on. Jeff, I sent you some pictures just to sort of get some graphics along the way. But let me start off with kind of concept number one or takeaway number one that I got. James Clear, the author of the book, basically starts off by talking about the difference between being system-centric and outcome-centric. And this is one of those huge ideas that I really want to make sure that chiropractors are understanding, make sure that you're understanding. And, to break it down a little bit farther, a lot of times we've been taught, chiropractors have been taught, oftentimes by marketers, that, to think about business, you've got to really make sure that you focus on your ROI, your return on investment. If I do this, if I invest money in this, if I invest time in this, what will I get in return? So there were times where, if you had to spend $1,000 a month on a Yellow Page ad, you wanted to make sure that you were putting your money in the right place. So you'd calculate, am I getting enough people to come in as a result of that investment to at least offset the cost? I've heard that you oftentimes want to get a 3-to-1 or minimum of 3-to-1 return on your financial investments. But here's where he sort of takes it a different direction. And one of the things I think I appreciate most is the metaphor that he uses, because as chiropractors, we really should appreciate this, because this is what we teach, or hopefully should be teaching, the people that come into our practice. And it goes something like this. If you're outcome-centric, then what that means is you determine whether something is a worthy investment of your time and your money and your energy based on the return you get from doing it. So it's sort of like dipping your toe in the water to see kind of how it feels to determine if you really want to go in and swim. Well, the way he describes it is that oftentimes you should be calculating your outcomes in a longer term format based on the idea, not necessarily outcome. What does that mean? That means I think we can all agree that exercising on a consistent and regular basis will always be good and beneficial to your health. Now, obviously, I'm saying within reason, not hurting yourself and not trying to do 9 hours in one day as opposed to 30 minutes a day consistently, right? So consistent, safe, regular exercise will always be a good investment for people. But here's where the concept of ROI breaks down. If you try exercise for a little while and you wait to see what your outcomes will be to determine if exercise works or doesn't work, there's a really good chance you're not going to stick with it. And that, of course, is sort of the perfect metaphor. You might say the same thing about getting adjusted. Sure, some people will experience some relief in the very beginning, and some people determine that it works based on how they feel. But the reality is, in the long term, you're usually looking for different types of criteria. In other words, the benefits of things like exercise, the benefits of things like eating right? Eating healthier foods will always be a good investment in the long run, even though you might not be able to measure it in the short run, or even feel much better, or even notice you've lost much weight, or notice much measurable difference. But if you know what you're doing and why you're doing it, then you know that there will be a day. For some of you, it may be a week. Some of you, it may be a month. For some of you, it may be 6 months of exercising or eating right or getting a good night's sleep or staying well adjusted beyond the symptomatic relief phase, that you will absolutely notice a shift at some point that you'll recognize was well worth your investment. And what he's saying is that invest in building the systems that allow you to be sustainable, because that's where the results happen in being, we call this teach and invite consistently. And we always emphasize that it's the consistency that is the key to your success. You can teach and invite once or twice or 3 times, and you know you're doing the right thing. But if you're determining whether it works or not based on the feedback you get or the outcomes, you may be a little bit disappointed. And therefore, if you focus on measurement, you might just stop before you get to the good stuff. So that was really principle number 1. Principle number 2 is really focused on the concept that true change is an identity change. And this one, I think, applies to all of the chiropractors, or I'll say all of the smart chiropractors. Those are of our clients who really want to understand how to get lasting results and really how to keep this sustainable and grow over the long term. Here's what I mean by that. Most chiropractors go, I'm a chiropractor. I'm trying to post a few things every once in a while so that I get more new patients. That's most of our clients' concepts. Hey, you guys do some posting for us and let me see what I get. No problem. We do that. But for those docs that are looking for optimal results, that are looking for the best outcomes, not just the easiest approach, and we've got clients on both ends of the spectrum, and we don't judge which is which. You're welcome to use the tools however you like to. But it's very clear that some of our clients go, listen, I'm not going to do anything. Whatever you do for me, I'm willing to accept those benefits as the benefits. That's what I'm paying you for. But we have other clients that say, listen, I don't mind doing this stuff. I just need to know what to do and how to do it and how frequently I should do it, where I should do it, how I should do it. And for those of you who are in that specific category, here's the lesson, here's the message. What James is saying is that you really want to focus on who you are. One of the things he says is that the goal is not to read a book, it's to become a reader. Feel the difference in that just simple shift, right? If you read a book, you've accomplished a task. If you've shifted your identity to I'm a reader, then you're going to read this book and the next book and the book after that and the book after that. And that's where the results happen. In fact, Jeff, if you've got some of those images, I thought it was interesting to watch how he shows writing articles and building his subscriber list. And you can see that the outcome, the number of subscribers he gets, is directly proportional to how many reps or how much work he puts in. The more work you put in, the more subscribers you get. and it's going to work that way. You don't go, let me try a few articles and see if I get subscribers, and if I don't, I'll stop. You know that your identity, and this is the shift I want more and more chiropractors to start thinking. Think of yourself as an educator, or more specifically in today's kind of social media terms, as a creator, as a content creator. When we say think about being a teacher, teach and invite consistently, doctor means teacher. What we're saying is the way you teach in today's world is creating content, creating messaging. And the more creating you do, the more subscribers you will get over time. It's putting in the reps. Okay? If you go to the gym, if you exercise, you know that there's no shortcut to putting in the reps. And you can't put all the reps in at one time and go, I'm done, I did it all. You put the reps in consistently over time and keep on doing it. And that has to do with, again, your identity. And that's why we're talking about mindset. Is the concept is not just to put a few posts out, see if it works, send a few emails, see if it works. It's to understand that keeping your message, your face, your name, your energy, your vibration, your caring heart, your concerned mindset in front of as many people as you possibly can, as often as you can, for the right reasons. Knowing, just like the farmer plants seeds, puts them in the ground, doesn't come out tomorrow and next week and the week after that and go, do we have any trees? Do we have any fruit? Do we have any harvest? No. You know there's a process. In fact, BJ wrote principle number 6, there is no process that does not require time. So, Jeff, I'll kick it back over to you. Those are some of the mindset concepts that it's really about understanding what you're doing. That's why most of us get adjusted or get checked on a regular basis, whether we have symptoms or not. Some of us, kick the can down the road until we have them, but most of us know that the right thing to do is to get checked on a regular basis and get clear, get adjusted if necessary, proactively before you have symptoms, because it's the right thing to do. And the clearer you are, the more often you're clear, the longer you're clear, for the longer amount of time you're clear, the more connected you will be. And that's where life happens. Jeff, I know you read this book as well. It's a great recommendation. You enjoyed it. What were some of your takeaways?
Jason, I think you emphasized a lot of those key points: consistency, building fantastic habits, and being in it for the long term. And as we tie this to marketing, a lot of it ties directly to marketing, meaning marketing is about awareness. It's about consistency, as we teach, and you elaborated on with teach and invite consistently. And for many chiropractors out there, building your health tribe, building your audience, there is that inherent understanding that it's going to take a little bit of time. My encouragement to everybody listening and watching would be, don't get discouraged by that amount of time it will take. I think a lot of times we get started and then we see that it's going to take a lot of time and it's like, man, do I really want to put in that effort? Can I show up day after day? Now, with the Smart Chiropractor, we make that as easy as possible for docs to be able to show up so that they have those monthly campaigns, those weekly topics, and those daily posts. But whether you're a member currently or you're going to be a member in the future and you haven't decided just yet, taking those action steps each and every day are what is going to help lead you to success. Marketing is about awareness. It's about consistency. And it's about building those great habits so that when the people in your community are ready to make that decision, you are top of mind. You are that first choice. That's, of course, I'm going to see Dr. Jason. Of course, I'll go to see Dr. Jeff because I have been following him or her online. That's about building trust. It's about building rapport. And that doesn't happen overnight. Just as with any relationship, that takes time. And James Clear's book, I think, is a great example of showcasing exactly what that means at the highest level and then breaking it down to practical steps so that you can get out there, stay consistent, and build great habits. Jason?
Yeah, just 2 more things I want to emphasize before we close this segment. Number 1, for those of you that like numbers, that like data, one of the things, you might have heard this before, but this is the source I found it, was if you improve 1% a day, right? And they go, of course, I could prove 1% today. That's not a major deal, right? This is the small habits that lead to big results. But the math is that if you improve 1% per day every day, that after a year, you will be 37 times better than where you are currently today. I know, Jeff, we've got a new book coming out, The Payday Practice, and we write about that compound interest, as Einstein talked about, that the compounding effect of little things over time really is where the magic happens. Einstein called it the eighth wonder of the world. You'll read about that, of course, in our upcoming Payday Practice. That's number one. Number two, one of the things I really appreciated in terms of applying the idea, you go, oh, great idea, great idea, great idea. It's all intellectual. But the takeaway, if you really want to get results, one of the things that he suggested, I want to suggest to all of you, get a calendar, a physical calendar, not a digital calendar, a physical calendar, and get your month. And one of the brilliant ideas, as super simple as it is, and usually the super simple ones are the great ones, was to start to create a chain, right? Every day you post your own video, right? If you're going to take our advice, you're going to think of yourself, I'm a content creator, I'm a creator, I'm going to get into this, I'm going to do stuff. Here's the tip or trick or way in which to sort of hack your way into positive habits, basically, to get great outcomes. Pull out your calendar. Every day you do a post, put a big X on the day that you did the post to show, I did it. And your goal should simply be to get as many X's in a row as you possibly can and don't break the chain. Really simple idea, really easy to apply, but that's where momentum matters and where you start building some accountability and some, you said, actually gave the credit to Seth Godin. The best way to get long-term benefits is with short-term feedback. And literally putting an X on a calendar that you can see and seeing all those X's in a row every day and feeling the pride of not breaking the chain, but every day putting in your rep is one of those instant feedback mechanisms to sort of hack your mindset to make sure you get going and stay in the process. Just wanted to make sure you all got that very simple, easy to apply tip. You can download a calendar online if you don't have one already. Put it up somewhere you're going to see it. Put the X every time you do a great post, and don't break the chain.
Hey, if you like that video, be sure to subscribe to the Smart Chiropractor. We are posting videos on how you can market your chiropractic practice in a way that teach and invites consistently. We have found that is the magic formula to big time growth. So if you like this video, be sure to comment down below, smash that subscribe button, or visit us at thesmartchiropractor.com.